Earth's most advanced warship, the Retribution, glided silently through the darkness of space. Its sleek black hull absorbed light rather than reflected it, making it nearly invisible against the backdrop of stars. On the command deck, Captain Daniel Hayes stood with his hands clasped behind his back, watching the main view screen. "Target vessel approaching, sir. Kelvin diplomatic cruiser as expected," announced Lieutenant Kevin Foster from the tactical station. Daniel nodded. "Prepare for intercept. No weapons hot unless I give the order." First Officer Maya Rodriguez entered the bridge, her expression grim. She approached Daniel and spoke quietly. "Captain, you need to see this." She handed him a datapad. As Daniel reviewed the contents, his jaw tightened. "You verify this." "3 times, sir. It's authentic. The Kelvins have been planning a coordinated strike against our colonies for months. They're just the first wave." Daniel closed his eyes briefly. After decades of uneasy peace, it had come to this. Humanity had suffered enough. "Communications," he called. "Patch me through to Earth Alliance Command. Priority Alpha." While waiting for the connection, Daniel watched the alien vessel grow larger on the view screen. Its ornate design reflected the Kelvins' belief in their cultural superiority. Soon they would learn how wrong they were. "Command online, sir," said Communications Officer Lisa Brennan. The stern face of Admiral Jacob White appeared on screen. "Captain Hayes, I take it you've made contact." "Yes, Admiral. And Commander Rodriguez has uncovered evidence confirming our suspicions. The Kelvins are leading a coalition against us." The Admiral's expression darkened. "Then we proceed as planned. You have authorization to deliver the ultimatum." "Understood, sir." As the communication ended, the bridge doors slid open. A tall man with piercing blue eyes entered. Alex Morgan, the mysterious tech specialist who had joined the crew just before departure from Earth. "Is it time?" Alex asked. Daniel nodded. "Hail the Kelvin vessel." Within moments, the alien face of Ambassador Rel appeared on screen. His gray skin and 4 eyes were characteristic of his species. "Captain Hayes," the ambassador said smoothly. "This is unexpected. We are on a diplomatic mission to—" "Save your lies, Ambassador," Daniel interrupted. "We know about the planned attack. We know about the coalition you formed with the Xylar Collective and the Baraxian hegemony." The ambassador's secondary eyes blinked rapidly, a sign of distress in Kelvins. "I am authorized by Earth Alliance to deliver this message," Daniel continued. "This is humanity's final warning to the galactic community. For 2 centuries, we have endured incursions, raids, and biological attacks. We have watched our colonies burn. We have buried our dead. No more." Daniel stepped closer to the screen. "All hostilities against human worlds will cease immediately. Any species that continues aggressive actions against humanity will face extinction. You have 48 hours to withdraw all military assets from human-claimed space." The ambassador's expression changed from shock to indignation. "You dare threaten the combined might of 3 galactic powers. What possible weapon cold?" "Project Eclipse," Alex Morgan interrupted, stepping into view. "Perhaps you should ask the Dalarians what happens when they faced merely the prototype." The mention of the Dalarians, a once mighty species whose technology had mysteriously failed throughout their empire last year, caused visible fear in the ambassador's posture. "This is your only warning," Daniel concluded. "Darkness falls on those who threaten humanity. 48 hours, Ambassador. Not 1 minute more." As the communication ended, Maya turned to Daniel. "Do you think they'll listen?" Daniel looked to Alex, who was monitoring readings on his specialized equipment. For 100 years, humanity had played the role of victim, but their technological leap 5 years ago had changed everything. Project Eclipse was the culmination of that change, a weapon like nothing the galaxy had seen before. "They won't listen," Daniel said quietly, "but they'll learn. Everyone will." The Retribution exited hyperspace with a flash of blue light. This was their second stop on the warning tour, the oceanic world of Baraxis Prime, home to the Baraxian hegemony. Standard orbit achieved, Captain, reported Navigation Officer Sam Kelly. Daniel Hayes nodded, the weight of his mission heavy on his shoulders. In the 20 hours since delivering their ultimatum to the Kelvins, the Retribution had visited 3 key worlds to ensure humanity's message was clear. Status of the Baraxian fleet, Daniel asked. 8 capital ships in defensive formation. Kevin Foster replied from Tactical. Their weapons are powered but not targeted. Maya Rodriguez stood beside the captain's chair. They're more cautious than the Kelvins. They should be, Daniel said quietly. Open a channel. Back on Earth, Alliance President Olivia Carter faced a storm of opposition in the emergency cabinet meeting. This is madness, shouted Defense Minister Gregory Stewart, slamming his fist on the table. We're threatening species with technology far beyond our own. Olivia remained calm. Far beyond what they believe we have, Gregory. That's the difference. Project Eclipse has only been tested once, and that was on a limited scale, argued Science Director Ben Walsh. We can't be certain of its full capabilities or consequences. What we can be certain of, Olivia replied, is that the coalition against us was planning to strike within the month. Intelligence doesn't lie. As if on cue, Intelligence Officer Jason Mills entered the chamber. His expression was grim as he placed a data cube on the table. Madam President, we've intercepted new communications. The coalition is larger than we thought. 12 species, not 3, have signed their war pact. The room fell silent. And the timeline? Olivia asked. Accelerated. First strikes against our colonies would have begun in 8 days. Olivia looked around the table at her cabinet members. Any further objections to our current course of action? No one spoke. On the far side of Earth, Fleet Admiral William Porter stood in the command center of Luna Base, watching as hundreds of ships moved into position. Earth's fleet was not large compared to some alien armadas, but what they lacked in numbers, they made up for in technological edge. Defensive grid at 90%, Admiral, reported his aide. William nodded. Position the Eclipse platforms as planned. I want coverage of every approach vector. Aboard the Retribution, Engineer Natalie Chen worked deep in the ship's secure laboratory. Before her stretched the heart of humanity's deterrent, a small, unassuming black cube that pulsed with faint blue light. How can something so small cause so much destruction? She whispered to herself. The laboratory door slid open, and Alex Morgan entered. His presence always made Natalie uneasy. He knew too much about Eclipse technology to be a regular tech specialist. It's not destruction, Alex corrected, as if reading her thoughts. Eclipse doesn't destroy matter. It simply disconnects it. Disconnects technology from reality, Natalie said, making it useless, leaving entire civilizations helpless. Would you prefer we destroy their worlds completely? Alex asked. This way, populations survive. Only their ability to wage war is removed. Natalie turned to face him. And who decides which civilizations deserve this fate? We're crossing a line. Alex's expression hardened. They crossed the line when they planned our extinction. Do you know how many human colonies have been destroyed in the past century? How many billions dead? Eclipse is mercy compared to what they had planned for us. The ship's intercom interrupted their debate. Engineer Chen to the bridge, came Captain Hayes's voice. The Baraxians have responded to our ultimatum. As Natalie hurried to the bridge, she wondered if humanity's darkest hour was yet to come, not from alien threats, but from what they might become in their quest for security. The Retribution raced through hyperspace, its engines straining at maximum capacity. The emergency signal from Proxima had reached them only hours ago, and Captain Daniel Hayes knew they were already too late. Exiting hyperspace in 30 seconds, Sam Kelly announced, his voice tight with tension. Maya Rodriguez checked the tactical display. All crew to battle stations. Weapons ready on your command, Captain. Daniel nodded grimly. Let's hope we don't need them. When the ship dropped back into normal space, the bridge crew fell silent. The human colony on Proxima, once home to nearly 20,000 settlers, was in flames. Orbiting the planet were 5 alien vessels of Xylar design. "The Xylar Collective," Daniel whispered. "They struck first." "They're turning to engage us," Kevin reported. "Energy signatures indicate weapons charging." Daniel's jaw tightened. "Evasive pattern Delta. Return fire only if hit. Priority is assessing survivor status." Science Officer Eric Wilson worked frantically at his station. "Captain, I'm detecting unusual energy readings from the Xylar ships. It's like nothing in our database." "Life signs on the surface?" Daniel asked, dreading the answer. Eric's shoulders slumped. "Scattered. Maybe 1,000 survivors in the northern habitation dome. The rest of the colony is gone." The bridge crew absorbed this news as the Retribution shuddered under enemy fire. "Shield at 80%, Kevin reported. "They're using some kind of phase disruption technology." "Return fire," Daniel ordered. "Target their weapon systems only." As the battle unfolded in orbit, President Olivia Carter received the news in her command center beneath the Rocky Mountains. "They've crossed the line," Defense Minister Stewart said, his earlier caution gone. "We must respond with full force." Olivia stared at the casualty reports from Proxima. Nearly 19,000 dead in an unprovoked attack. "Get me the Eclipse control team," she said quietly. Her aide looked surprised. "Madam President, are you authorizing?" "A limited demonstration," Olivia clarified. "Target the Xylar attack fleet at Proxima only. No planetary targets yet." Within minutes, the order was transmitted to the Retribution. On the bridge, communications specialist Sophia Patel turned to Captain Hayes. "Sir, priority message from Earth Command. Authorization code Eclipse Alpha." Daniel took the secure tablet, read the message, then handed it to Alex Morgan, who had appeared silently on the bridge. "It's time," Daniel said. "Target the Xylar vessels only." Alex nodded and inserted a small device into his console. "Eclipse targeting system active. 30 seconds to deployment." While the crew braced for whatever would happen next, Sophia's console lit up with intercepted transmissions. "Captain, I'm picking up communications between the Xylar ships, and this is strange. They're reporting to someone else. Not the Xylar High Command." Maya leaned over her shoulder. "Can you trace it?" "Trying. But it's heavily encrypted. Wait, I'm detecting similar communication patterns from other alien fleets. It's like they're all receiving orders from the same source." Before they could investigate further, Alex announced, "Eclipse deployment in 3, 2, 1. From the Retribution, a pulse of invisible energy expanded outward, washing over the 5 Xylar warships. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then, one by one, the alien vessels went dark, their weapons powered down. Their engines failed. They began to drift. "What's happening to them?" Maya asked, watching the helpless ships. "Eclipse severs the connection between technology and its users," Alex explained. "Their ships still exist, but they can no longer control or operate them." Daniel watched the drifting ships, feeling no satisfaction. "Contact Earth. Tell them the demonstration was successful." He turned to Maya. "Prepare rescue teams for the colony survivors." As the Retribution moved toward the burning colony, Daniel couldn't shake the feeling that this conflict was more complex than it appeared. If Sophia was right, who was really pulling the strings of this war? The mood aboard the Retribution was somber as it took position near Earth's largest orbital platform. 3 days had passed since the attack on Proxima, and the rescue operations had saved only 800 colonists. The rest were gone, victims of the first strike in what was quickly becoming a galactic war. "All senior officers report to the bridge," Daniel announced over the ship-wide comm. "We have new orders." When the team had assembled, Daniel activated the secure channel to Earth Command. President Olivia Carter's face appeared on the main screen. "Captain Hayes, in light of continued aggression against human interests, the Security Council has voted to authorize Phase 1 of the Eclipse Protocol. A chill spread through the bridge. Phase 1 met a planetary target. The Xylar homeworld. Daniel asked. Olivia nodded. Intelligence confirms they led the attack on Proxima. Our ultimatum has been ignored. The time for warnings has passed. Maya stepped forward. Madam President, the Xylar homeworld has a population of over 4 billion. Are we certain this is? Eclipse doesn't kill. Commander Rodriguez, Defense Minister Stewart interrupted, coming into view beside the President. It simply disconnects. Their civilization will survive, just without the technology they use to attack us. After the briefing ended, the bridge fell silent. It was Tactical Officer Ryan Garcia who finally spoke. 4 billion people about to be thrown back to a pre-industrial age. Have we really thought this through? Daniel turned to him. You saw what they did to our colony. Yes, sir, Ryan replied. But does that make us right? Alex Morgan's voice cut through the tension. The Eclipse device is prepared, Captain, awaiting your command to proceed. The Retribution moved into position, taking up orbit around Earth's most powerful military platform, a massive station built specifically to house the full-scale Eclipse technology. Connect us to the platform, Daniel ordered. As the technological interface was established, the crew could feel a subtle vibration through the ship's hull. The main Eclipse device was awakening. Back on Earth, Defense Minister Gregory Stewart watched from the command bunker as power readings climbed. Think of the message this sends, he told the officers around him. After today, no species will dare attack humanity again. And if they do, asked an aide. Stewart's expression hardened. Then we move to Phase 2. Permanent technological regression across their entire sphere of influence. Aboard the Retribution, the final preparations were complete. The ship would serve as both a conduit and observer for the Eclipse effect. Target locked on Xylar Prime. Alex reported. Energy matrix stable. Daniel looked at each of his officers. Some, like Ryan, showed clear moral discomfort. Others, like Kevin, displayed grim determination. Maya's expression was unreadable. Execute Eclipse Protocol, Phase 1, Daniel ordered quietly. Alex activated the sequence. From the massive Earth platform, invisible energy surged through the Retribution's specialized equipment, amplified, and then shot across space in a directed wave. The effect would take 17 minutes to reach Xylar Prime. The bridge crew waited in silence. Captain, Maya said suddenly, I've been analyzing the communications Sophia intercepted during the Proxima battle. There's something you should see. She displayed a series of signal patterns on a side screen. These command protocols weren't Xylar in origin. In fact, I can't match them to any known species. Daniel studied the data. What are you suggesting? That Xylar may have been manipulated into attacking us, Maya said, by someone else. Before Daniel could respond, Eric called out from his science station. Eclipse wave has reached Xylar Prime. Beginning planetary effect. Now, on the main screen, they watched as city lights across the alien world began to flicker and die. Satellite systems fell from orbit. Ships dropped from the sky. An entire civilization was being disconnected from its technology in minutes. My God, whispered Natalie Chen, who had joined them on the bridge. What have we done? The Retribution drifted in high orbit around the now darkened Xylar homeworld. 12 hours had passed since the Eclipse Protocol had been activated. The alien planet below showed no signs of technological activity. A civilization that once spanned dozens of star systems had been effectively crippled at its source. Report on planetary conditions, Daniel ordered, his voice heavy. Eric Wilson looked up from his scans. Their technological infrastructure is completely offline. Power grids, transportation, communication, all disabled. I'm detecting large population movements toward rural areas. Casualties? Maya asked. Hard to determine precisely, Eric replied. but significant numbers in medical facilities, orbital habitats, and airborne vehicles when the system struck. The bridge fell silent. Though eclipse didn't directly kill, its sudden implementation had deadly consequences. Alex Morgan stood at the rear of the bridge, observing the crew's reactions. When he finally spoke, his words surprised everyone. "It's time you knew the truth," he said. Daniel turned to face him. "What truth?" Alex's posture changed subtly, becoming more confident, more authoritative. "I am not what I appear to be. My true name is Alexander Morgan Vega, Science Director of the Arcturus Colony." Maya frowned. "The Arcturus Colony was destroyed 80 years ago." "No," Alex corrected. "We went dark deliberately. We've been watching, waiting, developing technology beyond what Earth could imagine." Daniel's hand moved subtly toward his sidearm. "You're claiming to be from a human splinter civilization." "Yes, one that recognized the true threats in this galaxy long before Earth did." Alex looked around at the stunned faces. "Project Eclipse wasn't developed by Earth scientists. It was given to your government by us." "Why?" Daniel demanded. "Because we discovered something terrible," Alex replied. "A pattern of conflicts in this galaxy isn't natural. It's engineered." Alex activated the main display, showing a complex star map with conflict zones highlighted across thousands of light years. "Look at the pattern. These wars, these natural rivalries between species, they follow a precise mathematical progression, one that's been ongoing for at least 12,000 years. Natalie Chen stepped forward. "The eclipse technology. Where did it really come from?" "We discovered it in ruins on a dead world," Alex explained. "A civilization that called themselves the Lumineers. They were nearly extinct when we found them, victims of the same pattern we're seeing now." Maya exchanged looks with Daniel. "This confirms my suspicions about the communication patterns." Alex nodded. That Sylar weren't acting independently when they attacked Proxima. They were manipulated, just as humanity has been manipulated into using Eclipse. "By whom?" Daniel asked. "They call themselves the Void Architects," Alex said. "Beings from another dimensional plane. They feed on the energy released during technological collapse and the chaos that follows." The revelation stunned the bridge crew into silence. "And we just fed them," Natalie whispered, looking at the darkened planet below. "Exactly," Alex confirmed. "Every time Eclipse is used, they grow stronger. They'd been engineering conflicts for millennia, pushing civilizations to develop weapons like Eclipse, then manipulating them into using these weapons against each other." Daniel's expression hardened. "If what you're saying is true, then Earth is about to deploy Eclipse across the galaxy, playing right into their hands." "Worse," Alex said. "The full deployment of Eclipse will create enough dimensional energy to allow the Void Architects to physically enter our universe." "We need to warn Earth," Maya said urgently. Daniel shook his head. "With what proof? They'll think we've gone mad or been compromised." Alex stepped to the central console. "I can show you proof, but we'll need to go somewhere forbidden. The Sigma sector." "That's restricted space," Kevin objected. "No Earth vessels are permitted there by direct order of the Security Council." "Now you know why," Alex replied. "It's where we found the Lumineer survivors. It's where the dimensional thinning is strongest." Daniel looked around at his crew, then back to the darkened planet below, a glimpse of what awaited the galaxy if they failed. "Set course for the Sigma sector," he ordered, "and may God help us all." The Retribution dropped out of hyperspace at the edge of the Sigma sector. Warning alerts immediately blared across the bridge as the ship's systems detected the unusual spatial properties of the region. "Gravitational distortions throughout the sector," Eric reported. "Radiation levels fluctuating in patterns I've never seen before." Daniel stood at the viewport, staring at the strange purple-tinged nebula that dominated the sector. "How long until Earth realizes we've gone rogue?" 6 hours at most," Maya answered. "Once we missed our scheduled check-in, they would have started tracking procedures." Alex worked at the navigation console, inputting coordinates. We need to reach these coordinates quickly. The evidence is there. A Lumineer outpost where the dimensional barrier is thinnest. The ship pushed forward into the nebula, its shield straining against the unusual forces surrounding them. Strange lights flickered in the vacuum around them, defying the normal laws of physics. What exactly are we looking for? Natalie asked. A gateway, Alex explained. The Void architects have been building it for centuries, strengthening it with each technological collapse they engineer. The Lumineers discovered this and tried to warn other species, but they were destroyed for their efforts. As they ventured deeper into the nebula, communications began to fail. Static filled their transmission channels, occasionally broken by whispers in unknown languages. "Something's scanning us," Kevin announced suddenly. Energy signature unlike anything in our database. Before anyone could respond, the view screen flickered and displayed an image that caused the entire crew to freeze. A being, if it could be called that, appeared before them. It had no definite shape, shifting constantly between forms, with only its glowing red eyes remaining constant. Humans, the entity spoke, its voice somehow inside their minds rather than through the ship's audio systems. "You have entered forbidden space. Your intrusion has been noted." Daniel stepped forward. "We know what you are. We know what you're doing to our galaxy." The entity seemed to smile, though it had no mouth. "Do you? Then you are more perceptive than most species at your level of development. It changes nothing. The process has already begun." "The Eclipse Protocol," Maya said. "A tool we have guided humans to use," the entity confirmed. "As we guided the Lumineers before you, and countless others before them, the energy released feeds our gateway. Soon we will walk among you." The entity vanished, and the ship's systems surged back to life. "I recorded everything," Sophia announced. "We have proof." "It won't be enough," Alex warned. "We need the physical evidence from the Lumineer outpost." The Retribution continued its journey through the nebula, the strange forces growing stronger. On their long-range sensors, they detected ships entering the sector behind them. "Earth vessels," Kevin confirmed. 3 destroyers. They're hailing us." "Ignore them," Daniel ordered. "Maximum speed to the coordinates." Back on Earth, President Olivia Carter faced an emergency meeting with her military advisors. "The Retribution has gone dark, Madam President," Admiral Porter reported. "We've tracked them to the Sigma sector, restricted space." Defense Minister Stewart slammed his fist on the table. "This is treason. Hayes must have been compromised by alien influence. Or he discovered something we needed to know," Olivia countered, remembering her earlier doubts about the Eclipse Protocol. "Regardless," Stewart pressed, "the Phase 2 deployment is scheduled for tomorrow. We can't allow a rogue vessel to interfere." In the depths of the Sigma sector, the Retribution finally reached the coordinates Alex had provided. Before them floated a massive structure, part space station, part dimensional anomaly. Its surface shifted and rippled like liquid metal. "The gateway," Alex whispered. "It's nearly complete." As they approached, the ship's sensors detected activity throughout the structure. Energy patterns similar to Eclipse technology pulsed through its framework. "They're using our own weapon to finish their doorway," Natalie realized. Daniel turned to his crew. "We have hours before Earth deploys Phase 2 of Eclipse across the galaxy. If that happens, this gateway opens fully." "How do we stop it?" Maya asked. From the science station, Eric looked up with determination. "I think I know a way to reverse the eclipse effect, to turn it against the gateway itself." "Do it," Daniel ordered. "Meanwhile, we need to get that evidence and prepare to make a stand against our own people." As they worked frantically, the pursuing Earth vessels drew closer, weapons charging. The Retribution shook violently as energy blasts from the Earth destroyers struck its shields. Daniel gripped his command chair tightly, watching as the tactical display showed their pursuers closing in. "Shields at 40%, Kevin reported. "We can't take much more of this." Maya pointed to a small opening in the gateway structure. There. If we can get close enough, we might be able to transmit our evidence directly into Earth's military network. Risky, Daniel said. But we're out of options. He activated the ship-wide comm. All hands, prepare for extreme maneuvers. Engineering, give me everything you've got. The Retribution surged forward, diving toward the massive gateway. As they approached, the structure seemed to respond. Tendrils of dark energy reaching out toward them. They're trying to trap us, Alex warned. On the engineering deck, Natalie Chen worked frantically to modify the ship's Eclipse module. Eric's calculations had given her a framework, but translating theory into practice under combat conditions was pushing her skills to the limit. Almost there, she muttered, connecting the final circuits. This should reverse the energy flow, turning the gateway's power back on itself. The ship lurched again as another blast hit them. Warning lights flashed across her console. Back on Earth, President Olivia Carter stared at her screens in disbelief as fragmented transmissions from the Retribution began breaking through the communication blackout. "What am I seeing?" she asked, watching images of the gateway and recordings of the Void Architect entity. Intelligence Officer Jason Mills analyzed the incoming data. "It appears authentic, Madam President. The patterns match thousands of historical conflicts. If this is correct, we've been manipulated into using Eclipse against our enemies." Defense Minister Stewart shook his head. "This is clearly a deception. The Phase 2 countdown is at 30 minutes. We must proceed as planned." Before Olivia could respond, Admiral Porter rushed into the room. "Madam President, we're detecting dimensional anomalies across the planet. Something is happening." In the Sigma sector, the battle had reached its climax. The Retribution, badly damaged but still fighting, had positioned itself directly in front of the gateway's main energy conduit. "Natalie, status on the reversal device," Daniel demanded over the comm. "Ready, Captain, but we need to be closer, point-blank range." Daniel looked at Maya, then at the rest of his bridge crew. "Take us in. Full speed." The Retribution accelerated toward the heart of the gateway. Behind them, the Earth destroyers hesitated, unsure whether to fire on their own ship at such close range to the mysterious structure. "Now, Natalie," Daniel shouted as they reached the optimal position. In engineering, Natalie activated the modified Eclipse device. Instead of projecting outward, it drew in the dimensional energy from the gateway, channeling it through the ship's systems in a feedback loop. The effect was immediate and spectacular. The gateway structure began to collapse on itself. The energy that had sustained it for centuries now turned against it. Void architects appeared throughout the structure, their shifting forms now visible as they tried desperately to stabilize their creation. "It's working," Maya exclaimed. "The gateway is collapsing." The ship's communication system suddenly cleared, and President Carter's face appeared on their main screen. "Captain Hayes, we've received your evidence. Phase 2 has been aborted. Get your ship out of there now." Daniel nodded. "Helm, get us clear." The Retribution pulled away from the imploding gateway, systems failing across the ship. The Earth destroyers, now allies once more, moved in to assist them. As the gateway collapsed completely, a blinding flash of light engulfed the sector. When it faded, only floating debris remained where the structure had been. 6 weeks later, Daniel and Maya stood in the Grand Assembly Hall on Earth, watching as representatives from a dozen alien species, including the Hylar, signed the Galactic Defense Accord. "Hard to believe," Maya said. "A month ago, we were at each other's throats." Daniel nodded. "Nothing unites like a common enemy." President Carter approached them, looking tired but determined. "The last of the Eclipse technology has been dismantled. We're developing a new warning system to detect dimensional incursions." "And the Void Architects?" Daniel asked. "No sign of them," Carter replied. "But Alex and his people believe some may have escaped before the gateway collapsed." Daniel looked out at the assembled species, former enemies now allies. "Then we'll be ready when they return." This time, the galaxy stands united. 5 years had passed since the collapse of the Void Architect's gateway. The galaxy had changed in ways few could have imagined. Where once countless species fought for dominance, now stood the United Galactic Defense Coalition. At the edge of explored space, aboard the newly commissioned exploration vessel Vanguard, Captain Daniel Hayes stood on the observation deck. The stars stretched before him, endless possibilities in the darkness. "Still can't sleep?" Maya asked, joining him at the viewport. She wore the insignia of a fleet commander now, though she had requested this special assignment alongside her former captain. Daniel smiled faintly. "Old habits. The nightmares have mostly stopped, though." They stood in comfortable silence, watching the unfamiliar constellations. The Vanguard had been traveling for 3 months, charting regions beyond the known galaxy, a mission of peace and discovery rather than war. "Message from Earth," announced Sophia over the intercom. "Admiral Porter sends his regards and reports that the Dimensional Monitoring Network is fully operational." "Good," Daniel replied. "Any anomalies detected?" "None so far," Sophia confirmed. "All sectors report normal space-time stability." But both Daniel and Maya knew that "so far" was the key phrase. The Void Architects had been manipulating galactic civilizations for thousands of years. 5 years of peace meant nothing against such timescales. In his private laboratory aboard the Vanguard, Alex Morgan studied readings from specialized equipment of his own design. Unlike the official reports, his instruments detected subtle disturbances. Nothing concrete yet, but troubling nonetheless. The door slid open, and Natalie Chen entered. After the gateway incident, she had joined Alex's research team, determined to understand the technology that had nearly destroyed them all. "You found something," she said, noticing his expression. Alex nodded. "Microfractures in subspace, similar to what we detected before the Proxima attack, but scattered across multiple sectors." "They're still out there," Natalie whispered. "They were never really gone," Alex corrected. "Just regrouping." On the command deck, Eric Wilson called Daniel's attention to unusual sensor readings from a nearby star system. "The pattern is familiar, Captain," Eric noted. "Similar to the energy signature we detected from the Void Gateway, but much weaker." Daniel exchanged glances with Maya. "Set course for the anomaly. Yellow alert." As the Vanguard changed direction, Daniel addressed the senior staff in the briefing room. The faces around him showed determination hardened by experience. They had faced the darkness once before and survived. "We always knew they might return," Daniel began. "But this time, we're not alone. We have allies across the galaxy, early warning systems, and knowledge of what we're facing." Kevin Foster brought up a tactical display. "The Coalition has deployed rapid response fleets near dimensional weak points. If we confirm Void Architect activity, reinforcements can reach us within hours." Daniel nodded. "Our mission remains observation only. We find evidence, document it, and report back. No engagement unless absolutely necessary." As the meeting concluded, Daniel returned to the observation deck. The stars looked different to him now, not just points of light, but homes to billions of lives that had nearly been extinguished. A small alarm chimed on his personal device. It was a message from President Carter. "Dimensional fluctuations detected in 3 sectors. Coalition Council requesting your assessment." Could this be them? Daniel typed his reply. "Too early to confirm. Investigating similar phenomena now. Will report findings. Stay vigilant." As he sent the message, Daniel noticed something unusual about a distant star. Its light seemed to flicker in an unnatural pattern. 3 pulses, then darkness, then 3 pulses again. "Maya," he called over the comm. "I think you should see this." As she joined him, the flickering increased. They watched in silence as the star's light twisted in impossible ways, forming shapes that shouldn't exist in 3-dimensional space. "And so it begins again," Maya whispered. Daniel straightened his uniform. "Then we'll face it again. Together." The vanguard continued toward the anomaly, carrying humanity's best hope against the returning darkness. The warning had been delivered years ago. Now came the true test, whether the galaxy could remain united against the shadows between the stars.